Welcome to the Flying High Club in association with the World Aviation Festival, Lisbon 2025. This series in Lisbon is brought to you and powered by Swiper, the digital payment platform which works in managing disruption and airline compensation. Swiper is smart, seamless, and built for the future of air travel. You'll find more information in the link below and the comments section. Thank you to Swiper for supporting the Flying High Club at Lisbon 2025. Enjoy the episode. Welcome everyone to the Flying High Club podcast. We are the official podcast partner for the World Aviation Festival here in Lisbon 2025. As we said, there is a lot of energy, a lot of activity here, and we are really pleased to be talking to someone who's going to talk to us about people in aviation. Because as we've said throughout the last 2 days, it's the people that drive this industry, and it's no coincidence that we have big hitters here who are driving the people strategy in the industry. So I'm really pleased today to have with me a super guest who's going to talk to us more about that. And I'm working for a very innovative airline in Wizz Air. Marion, Jeffrey, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, perfect. So I want to start by just asking you to introduce yourself and let the viewers know what you're about, what your background is, and what we're doing here today.
Thank you. My name is Marion Geoffroy, and I've got quite an aviation background because I started there professionally 25 years ago, but aviation has been in my life and in my heart for 50 years, I should say. I grew up in an aviation environment, traveling environment, and actually I studied law and decided to specialize in aviation law. So I did that, and right after finishing my studies in Montreal, I joined Air France KLM at the age of 24. I was very fortunate to be able to join at that time directly an airline.
Yes.
And I spent more than 10 years with Air France KLM, going from one legal counsel position to another one to becoming head of legal. And then I decided to also try myself in a different sector. So I moved to the insurance sector in France for 4 years. But you know what? Aviation called me. And in 2015,
It's a bug.
yeah, it is. I was still intoxicated at that time. In 2015, I joined Wizz Air as head of legal and general counsel for the group. 54 aircraft at that time,
Yeah.
250 today. So that's been an adventure. Not just in the legal department, because I am in my fourth position with Wizz Air. So from head of legal, I became chief corporate officer. And in 2021, I moved to London to become the managing director of Wizz Air UK, one of the AOCs of Wizz Air.
Yeah.
Great experience, very new in terms of the function, because I became accountable manager. She was in charge of operations at that time, and then commercial as well. And 3 months ago, almost precisely, I moved from London to Budapest to become the group people officer, looking after what's most important to us and to the aviation industry. That's the people who work in the aviation industry.
Fantastic. What a career so far. I think there'll be lots for us to delve into there, because I'm really fascinated about that transition from legal counsel to managing the operation to now leading people in terms of these strategies. So that'd be fantastic. And I'm sure for viewers to be able to have that confidence to see it is possible to move in terms of function. So we'll definitely get into that. So we're here at the World Aviation Festival. As you say, lots of energy, lots of things happening in the background here, lots of innovations. Why are festivals like this so important in your mind in terms of these conferences? Why are they useful to attend?
I would say number one is people connection, because yes, of course, it's about innovation, and I'm so impressed by what I'm seeing here in terms of innovation. It's different one wonder to the other, and we see how much progress is being made. But it's the people behind the innovation, because whatever innovation you work on, there's always an interesting story behind, and someone who's passionate about aviation, who has become passionate about aviation, because not everyone is from the beginning.
Yes.
And it's see the passion behind this and what drives people's mind to really build a more connected aviation world, a simplified aviation world. Because at the end of the day, we're here to connect people from A to B, to give them an experience, and this is working extremely well. I'm very energized by being here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's quite infectious. So thank you. And you're saying about excitement around innovation. I know you've only been here very short. Still got to explore it. We've taken you straight away. But what innovations are exciting you right now? Whether that with your people strategy hat on or from an operations perspective with your experience, what kind of innovations are exciting you at the moment?
Indeed, it's about, so yeah, I would start maybe with the operations because it looks like it's the natural one, like to make operations more efficient by having more connectivity on board, whether it's to manage the flights. So for our operations control center, for example, innovation has been crucial in simplifying everything, in ensuring the operations are more reliable. And I would say the second pillar is about people and how we as an airline connect with our crew. And how we facilitate this connection, because it's a strange population
Yes,
that
yes,
flies all the time. So your employees, you'd have very few touch points.
exactly.
And this is where innovation is crucial to ensuring you connect with them, you share information, you receive feedback, and you can keep them up to date about everything, whether it's about their flight operations themselves, but also the company strategy, new announcement, so that they get informed almost real time through all these apps that we make available for our communities.
Yeah, it's a quite a strange chasm, right? They spend the most time with your customers, but the interaction, as you say, from arriving at the airport to do their briefing to then leaving, is kind of the connection point. And at the same time, you don't want to disturb their rest, but equally, as you say, there are key messages because they are the face of your business. So
Exactly. Whenever they want, they should be able to connect. And of course that also illustrates what we're doing with customers who want and deserve real-time information about their flights, about a gate, about a change. And this is also where we are investing. We have always invested a lot in customer communication, and things we keep innovating on this.
okay, so like very clearly, obviously, your role means that you're looking after the people's strategy, and it's very clear that it's at the heart of your mind. So Wizz Air is scaling rapidly, as we said. From 50 aircraft to 250 aircraft. We see AOCs everywhere popping up. There's a lot of activity happening at Wizz Air. How do you manage the scale from a people strategy perspective when it's happening so rapidly?
So it's a scale we've been actually preparing, because this expansion we knew about years ago by simply placing the order book. So we know how many aircraft will be delivered when. So from there on, we are able to prepare for the recruitment, the training, and people going on online flights. So we can prepare for that. And yes, indeed, today Wizz Air is a group of 9,500 employees, and 5,000 of them are cabin crew. So it's a huge number of cabin crew. We and pilots, of course, but more cabin crew than pilots that we recruit, train, and then develop. Because when they join this and they start flying, that's not the end of it. I would say that's the beginning
Absolutely.
of an extraordinary career that can take you either as senior cabin crew, but also as a base manager. But you can also decide to change your career to move to flight crew position or to the office. So it's really the beginning of the career.
Yeah. And that's fantastic. That storytelling for people joining the industry, for them to see it can go beyond just that role. And I think that's one thing fantastic about aviation. And I think you've demonstrated it even just with your own career. And I'm sure we'll see that and examples as we talk along with people with it. Um, but let's be honest, Mariel, are you finding enough people that want to be cabin crew, that want to join, not just Wizz Air, but I'm talking about the industry, because that one of the reasons we very much started this podcast was to remind people about aviation after COVID. Are you seeing that pipeline come through, or does it concern you? And maybe in the long term it concerns you, or what was your view on it?
We do this, I mean, we do see this pipeline. We are actually the hometown airline where we have a base. We recruit uh, locally as much as we can. And we do have this pipeline in all the countries where we do operate. The pilot market is a little bit different because you don't have a pool in all the countries where we operate, but pilots want to travel. They want to actually, they know that whenever they decide to become a pilot, they will move from country A to country B and to C. So they are very open to relocating. And this is also what we offer as an employer, the chance to move from country A to B to C, and actually grow in the career, but also move geographically to a different countries. So we don't see any risk, any issue with the pool that we have, and that's actually working well with our current expansion plan. So we don't see any problem. We had a very strong summer. We had recruited well ahead because, of course, these things get prepared 6 months, 9 months,
Yeah,
even 1 year in advance,
exactly.
so that you don't get stuck with the training bottleneck. But we don't see an issue.
Fantastic. That's good to see. And I guess the key message is to plan and prepare in this sense. So that's really good. Okay. So again, the core model for Wizz Air is low costs, right? Um, and I think you talked about the concern around employee engagement. How do you balance that being low costs, trying to keep that efficient so you can keep prices for customers like us, low and competitive, but equally making sure you're investing in your people and engaging your workforce?
Actually, we do invest a lot in people training, in people development. Uh, the crew training is very regulated in terms of what they have to do, but we do more than that. We have campaigns for the office employees, and we have campaigns for crew as well. For example, all our crew have access to a LinkedIn learning platform, and they can, in an unlimited way, have access to courses, trainings, videos on LinkedIn, so that they can train whatever they want to learn. So that's an additional form of training for the crew, and also we invest in person a lot in meeting all our crew several times every year. We travel, we meaning management and several functions within management travel to our bases to meet the crew, to collect we collect the questions ahead. We try to bring as many answers as we can, whether it's on the strategy, on the what's ahead in terms of their own careers. And we do engage in person. Our CEO does that several times every year as well, engaging directly with the crew. So we have this in-person connection with our people, on top of all the tools I was mentioning earlier that we use, our internal platforms for communication that we use a lot with the crew members.
Fantastic. And it really comes across actually, I think when, again, coming from an airline background as well, um, you can become very distant from the crew. And it seems like you're actively aware of that and making sure your strategy very much puts the crew at the heart of it, which will be music to the ears of listeners and potential people that want to join the industry as well. That uh, having managed crew previously myself, their thing was that, we are with the customer and actually they feel the most disconnected sometimes.
Exactly.
When, as you say, they're the most important.
And we have for that a simple but very structured organization of crew management. We have base managers in all our bases who look after the crew, whether it's cabin crew or pilots, and are extremely close to them, but are also flying. There are people not 100% in the office, they are also active crew members.
Okay.
Therefore, it's not just someone that our crew will see in the office before or after a flight or whenever they have time for that. They will fly with them. And when we fly together, even for management, this is when you get the most out of your crew in terms of feedback,
Absolutely.
in terms of concerns, in terms of positive developments. And that's also the best way to connect with the
Well, you're
crew
in
and
their
understand
office.
what's going on.
You're in their office. So I think they feel comfortable in that environment.
You do.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
You do.
And it's great, as you say, I think that piece of managers who are, or base managers who are trained. So that actually they get that respect that actually, my job. It's not just you telling me we need to do this, that, why, without understanding the
Yeah,
impact
you
on,
don't assess people based on a policy or document. You need to see how they perform, how they interact with customers, how they are on board in their, as you say, in the office.
Yes. Perfect. Okay. I want to touch on diversity. What role does diversity and inclusion play in your people strategy at Wiz?
So it's core to our strategy, but I would say we were born as a diverse organization 21 years ago, as a culturally diverse organization, and also we've just grown like this. So today, Wiz has more than 110 nationalities. If you think office only, it's nearly 70 different nationalities, and we're below 800 employees in the office. So imagine
Yeah.
the environment, the office environment we have. So
Yeah.
we are culturally diverse from the beginning. We have people from all the possible background, but we also have an incredible gender diversity in the office and on board. And actually, there is a board oversight of our diversity credentials and targets. We have a sustainability and culture committee of the board of directors that precisely looks after the diversity topic, whether it's cultural, gender, but now also generational, because that has become, of course,
Yeah.
another aspect of our diversity strategy.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic. I mean, and it really shows that if you put the effort and commitment in from the top, it will trickle down. So that's really important because sometimes you lose the engagement
Yeah,
where people want to see diversity, but it sounds like from the beginning that's been there. But
it's
now
been
it's
there.
been actually formalized in governance.
And you become agile in managing diversity, whatever this is. For example, our youngest employee is 18 years old, and our oldest pilot doing some simulator training is 78. And it's fantastic because people learn from each other,
Exactly.
and that's valid for generation, that's valid for culture or gender as well. We all learn to work together.
So, as you said, you moved from general counsel into the operation, managing the UK operation at one point, and now in this people role. What leadership lessons have you learned in this rapid growth of yours as well?
I'm very fortunate to have been given this chance to move from a corporate role to an operations role, back to a corporate one, where I can bring all this experience, especially from the operational functions. Being accountable manager is a different story, especially post COVID in a very complex environment. 2022, 2023, we all remember these summers where it was complicated.
Was very
But out of these challenges, there are learnings that I'm using every day. And I really understand the business. And by understanding operations, and by operations, I mean the people in the operations, I think I have good tools and good understanding of what is important and what we need to prioritize as an airline when it comes to our people. And this is why I believe I know how to focus on what matters to the people in terms of strategy, in terms of development, in terms of being listened to, and that's a great tool that I'm using every day in terms of building the people strategy.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. I think we learned a lot coming out of COVID, and I think, like you said, that connection was really important. And music to my ears with my background in operations, I always say, you need people to understand what happens on the ground with our people, for you to then understand how you're going to implement that. And it sounds like you've got the perfect balance there, and we kind of look forward to what that does for you in the with the people strategy.
Especially our people who were there still 24/7. We never stopped flying on an airline during COVID. And our people have gone through this and have been adjusting to this as well.
Exactly. Okay. So I'm going to move to a segment we call the flight path. It's about your journey. So I want you to think back and tell me about your proudest moments so far in your career.
Well, that was actually rebuilding an organization post COVID, when we almost had a blank page in 2021, when on the 18th of March 2022, sorry, everything reopened.
Yes.
And we were very, very happy. And at the same time, there were a lot of question marks on how is the world going to be now?
Yeah.
And the world was different. So it was really about adjusting and building organizations designed for a completely changed environment and world. And I think the proudest moment is probably when 3 months ago, I put my bags in my car driving from London to Budapest, with a sort of mission accomplished feeling, of having rebuilt something that works, and something that is really important for Wizz Air.
Fantastic. Great to hear. And then thinking about advice, what's the best piece of advice you've been given in your career?
I think beyond advice, I would refer to Joseph Varadi. It's more like push. He's always pushed me beyond any form of comfort zone. He was the one hiring me first and then pushing me to become a chief corporate officer and calling me on Sunday, 8th of March 2021, telling me, I've got something for you on International Women's Rights Day. I'm offering you the managing director position in London.
Wow.
And I thought about it for probably 3.5 seconds and decided to move to London and take the challenge. So I think it's about the people who believe in you
Yes.
and push you, because by myself, would I thought about it? I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
retrospectively, you don't really know.
Exactly.
Maybe yes,
Yeah.
maybe not.
Yeah.
But
You tell
there was-
yourself yes.
yeah, I probably should have said yes anyway. But there was someone actually helping me thinking about it and deciding to let's do it.
Yeah.
And that was a great moment where I felt someone was believing in me.
Fantastic. Okay. What advice would you give to your 25-year-old self looking back?
It's about loving what you do or doing what you love. And especially in aviation, we're quite lucky because a lot of people in aviation do love aviation before they even join aviation. And a lot of people get to love aviation by knowing aviation. I mean, I'm very biased, but I would say
We're allowed to be.
it's a fantastic industry that first has a world purpose of connecting people and trying to make the world a little better. We create jobs, and this is a fantastic industry that is really serving a lot of essential purposes in life. So I think it's about being proud of what you do, and I would tell everybody who's not too sure about aviation, because it can be a tough industry, always affected, impacted by
There's always a crisis.
crisis first and the last one to recover.
Yeah.
So this is actually common to aviation.
Yeah.
But it's a fantastic industry. You meet amazing people, whatever they do in aviation. It's people driven by the same purpose.
Yeah, it's a story, isn't it? There's always a story somewhere. So we touched upon diversity. I want to talk to you about women in leadership roles in aviation. What more can be done or should be done to encourage more women in leadership roles within aviation?
So I think there are a lot of initiatives, thankfully, but still not enough. So Wizz Air has diversity targets at
Yes.
management level,
Yeah.
and we are at nearly 40% of female representation in senior management, which is quite high because in overall it's more like 15, 20 globally. But at best, if we don't force it even more, by 2050, it's going to be like 30, 40%. It's still not parity,
Yeah.
but it's getting better. I think it's about
Yeah.
giving, empowering women. So I think we know what sort of recipes we have. We have the role models. We need to have role models, people who are visible. Mentorship.
Well,
is
like
very
yourself.
important.
We need to show more
I
than people
try
like
to,
yourself. Yeah.
and I'm very proud as well that
Yes.
Wizz Air UK has 8% women representation in the flight deck, and the global number is more like 5%.
Yeah.
So it's about telling women you can really do it,
Yes.
and empower women, show them, be visible, but training as well. And I think there is an effort, but we have to do more. It's the same in engineering functions.
Yes.
It's still not enough, but I see at the moment lots of initiatives in different countries to actually, we have to talk to women at a very young age. And by young age, I mean 10 years, 11 years.
Yes.
You can become an engineer. So there is a very interesting initiative in France back in school when the girls are 10 years old, to give them extra mathematic lessons. And they love it and it's working. And there's a pilot at the moment and it's working. So we need to force it a little bit, because if we wait, it's not going to happen from one day to the
Yeah.
other.
If you want to change traditional habits, you're going to have to intervene at an early age, and you're right. And it's funny you say that. Actually, it's fantastic to see, because when you think about strategy and people in people strategy roles, they're looking ahead, whereas actually you're looking further ahead and actually talking about no, we need to start even younger. You said you got your youngest person at 18, but you're already thinking about in your mind there the 10-year-old, and how can aviation be in their minds?
That will give the possibility to many women to have actually a job,
Yes.
because currently it's not 50-50.
Yes.
And but we need to be more visible as an industry,
Yeah.
and we need to empower. I still see sometimes a bit of lack of confidence for some people who actually, some women who say, I'm not going to become a pilot, I'm not confident enough. And this is so wrong.
Yes.
We have to help this, because that's reality,
Yes.
and we have to help this.
Yeah. Okay, no, that's really important, and I think people hearing it from people like yourself who are actually sitting in a position where you are a role model. I think that's really really valuable, and we that's why these platforms exist as well. We want to amplify that for people to see that these things are possible. I mean, what you've shown here is that not only for your own career, but what is happening at Wiz. And like you said, maybe even more in terms of, not to get political, but in terms of the government, what we could be doing to try and
And men have to champion this, and my CEO did that. My father did it.
yes.
So you need to have men champions to ensure women can
Yeah.
can
And
go
that's
to leadership roles.
such an important point because I think when you talk about it's almost like it's your problem.
Yeah.
When actually it's a problem we all need to tackle together.
Yes, men and women.
Yes, absolutely. Fantastic. Okay, great. So again, looking in your from your lens as a chief people officer, what skills or experiences do you want to see more of in the future?
I think it's skills, experience, but it's attitude as well that I'm very much interested in, looking at people who want to join us and who want to work for us. So it's really about what you will make, because I think we have very long careers nowadays, and we can do easily, I did that, several jobs.
Yes.
So it's really about what you want to do with your life, and what you want to impact, in your career. So I'm very interested in soft skills,
Yes.
whatever I look at, because you can learn jobs.
Yes.
Of course, there are some more skilled jobs that you need to learn for
Yeah.
5 or 6 years, but you can basically do different jobs nowadays during your career.
Yeah.
So I think it's really about attitude. It's about being open. I would encourage everyone to look at what's around them in the world. And in aviation, we usually tend to travel a lot,
Yes.
but it's so important because then you build organizations that are global, that are also very understandable of what's in the country next to yours. So it's really about, I'm very interested, and maybe over age as well, I've become even more interested in soft skills,
Yeah.
and people attitude and mindset towards work.
Fantastic. Sounds good. Okay. Look, we're going to move on to what we call a quick fire round. We're going to ask you some one-worded answers that we want from you, and then some of them can be a bit longer because they might stoke a conversation. So we'll start very easy. You talk about flying. So, aisle or window?
Window.
Window. Perfect. Chicken or beef?
Beef.
Beef. Okay. Favorite airport?
Changi, Singapore.
Yeah, it's a favorite one on the show. First job in aviation.
Actually was a trainee. I was 14. It was in a very small, on a very small airfield. It was for 3 days only because I was 14. So that was a school sort of training.
Yeah.
And we had fog for 3 days. So I was sitting in the control tower for 3 days, just reading manuals.
Oh, fantastic. Wow, that's an experience, but clearly one you remember quite fondly. Um, Biggest influence on your career?
Oh, wow. Probably something I would never forget about is when I was counsel for Air France KLM the day the Concorde crashed, and I was in the crisis team. So probably that's from a psychological but also experience perspective that had an impact on my entire personality.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, Concorde is very close to a lot of people's hearts, but obviously that crisis, yeah, really redefined the aviation industry.
Redefined aviation and also impacted me really as a person. Yes, I was 25 years old at that time. So just starting my career and seeing things from one day to the other from their very different perspectives.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. Yeah. Very impactful. Your earliest aviation memory?
Oh, that was probably when I was still not born, when my mother was spending hours on airfields as well, because she's from a family of general aviation pilots.
Okay.
Her sister was a pilot at the age of 14. So my memory, I probably don't know about it, but it's probably even before I was born.
Wow. Amazing. What a story. Okay. Now, when you travel, are you a lounge lizard who loves to sit in the lounge, or are you a last minute dasher?
I'm in between because I like to observe. So I go to check in, I see how it works. That's my operational hat.
Yes.
So I see how it works. I like the lounges as well, but this is for if I need to eat something or if I need to do some important emails. But I like to observe the airport. I like to observe customers. I like to observe the energy of an airport. And I'm actually doing my classification of airport. This is how I came with Changi. as #1 for years now. But I like to observe the airports world and
Very
system.
similar to me. I think the operational hat never goes away. You're
No.
looking at how it works, what they're doing, what they should be doing, what they're not doing. Fantastic. And then just something lighthearted. Tell our viewers a fun fact about yourself that they might not know.
So maybe that I love flying, but what people don't know is that I love cooking as well.
Oh, there
And that has nothing to do with aviation.
Yeah, yeah.
However, whatever food I'm being served on board is very important. So I also assess an airline based on the food I'm getting on board.
Okay.
Whatever, even if it's a sandwich I'm buying or a food I'm being served on a long haul flight, I'm very attentive to the food I'm being served on board.
Perfect. Oh, well, a food critic on board. We've got to watch out for.
Almost.
Fantastic. Listen, it's been a great conversation. Thank you for being so open. Really excited to hear about what's happening at Wizz Air. If I was to ask you about one thing our viewers could take away from this conversation, what would it be?
It would be that I felt your passion, and I hope everybody felt my passion as well. It's a fantastic industry where you'll keep enjoying, and there won't be two similar days. So I would encourage people to join this fabulous industry.
Yeah. Well, a fantastic way to end. And as we always say on this podcast, that theme runs through. This is an industry where no 2 days are the same. You have experiences that you might not ever imagine. And I'm sure there are industries out there, and we're obviously going to be biased. Of course we are. But there are many careers in this industry. We encourage people to look into and look at and come into events like this, learn about the industry. And, like you said, take a leap of faith. So thank you very much, Marion. It's been a real pleasure having you on board on our podcast. We've had a fantastic time. And we look forward to kind of seeing the Wizz Air journey and yourself, and hopefully continue championing, important roles for women to play in aviation and leading from the front.
Thank you very much for having me. It's been a real pleasure. Thank you.
Perfect. That's it. That's us done. Keep flying high. Thank you to Swiper for supporting the Flying High Club at Lisbon 2025.